Hey everybody, it's Nicole Johnson with CoVision Real Estate Group, and welcome to my September newsletter. I hope you are enjoying this time of year as much as I am. I love the cooler mornings and the warmer sunny days. And I also love my kids are back in school, so I have a lot more quiet time during the day. So I tend to really love September, just coming out of a really hectic summer months. I love September. It's just kind of a reset for me. So anyways, I hope you are doing well. Wanted to send a quick update on what the market's looking like. One thing that's to note is that the Federal Reserve just announced cuts. That doesn't directly coordinate. That doesn't mean that they just announced mortgage rate cuts. But they're announcing cuts due to softening in the job market. I don't think this comes as a surprise to people who have been tracking the economy and the job market, but they have announced these cuts. So again, it doesn't mean that they have announced interest rate cuts, but what typically coordinates with that or correlates with it is you will eventually see, hopefully, an interest rate deduction or a cut in the interest rates, but they don't go hand in hand always. But it is that trend. If they announce that they're making cuts, then eventually we start to see mortgage or interest rates decrease as well or decline. So not a guarantee, but that was some of the better news. You know, it's not great to have a softening of the job market, but I think they're getting more realistic about what the economy is looking like and the job production out there. And so with that, starting to make some moves that will help the real estate industry at least. So some good news for borrowers out there. One of the things, I've got some stats right here, just over the past 7 days for all of Northern Colorado, there have been 219 price drops just in this last week. The other thing to note is there's only been 137 properties go under contract, and only 110 properties have sold in this past week. So what that tells me is with 219 price changes and only 137 going under contract, there's a lot of inventory out there. So as a borrower, what that means, you've got one, a lot of inventory to choose from, and two, you should be able to have some good negotiation on pricing and be able to take your time just a little bit more, but be able to be more selective and find the property that you really want and get it at some great pricing with some negotiation in your offer. So that's great news for a borrower if you're been thinking about getting back on the market. If you can make your mortgage payments work, I wouldn't keep trying to time the interest rates, but if you can meet with a lender, if you can make current mortgage payments work for you based on what current interest rates are, it's a great time to get out there and buy because you have a lot to choose from, which isn't always the case, especially in Colorado. We can see the housing market really ramp up quickly, and then there's a lot of competition and not a lot of inventory. So right now it's just a good window pocket to take advantage of inventory in a slower time. Sellers, I'm a broken record on this. You need to price your house well. You need to price it aggressively, competitively. You also need to be very well attuned with what your competition is. And you are probably going to need to do the extra work, put in the elbow grease, do the extra things to the property to make your house stand out above your competition. So you might need to replace the carpet. You might need to do some painting. You might need to do some remodeling. I would also recommend for most properties, you're probably going to want it professionally staged, especially if you've already moved out. You're going to want your property staged so it gives you the best opportunity to present your property to make it memorable for buyers who are walking through your house. Because again, there's more inventory on the market. They have a lot more to choose from. So you want yours to stand out above your competition. So keep those in mind. But also, just because you're doing those things, it doesn't mean you can skyrocket your pricing. You're probably still going to be here in the middle of your competition and pricing it aggressively, but taking these extra steps are what's going to keep your days on market less than what your competition is. So again, broken record on all of these things, but that's my take on what you need to do as a seller to get your property sold in a timely manner. If you are an investor, if you're comfortable with where you're at and you always love the real estate world, but you really don't want to be a landlord and you don't want to be in the stock market, Marcus and I have really been focusing on our mortgage note investing business, helping people invest in mortgage notes without having to be the experts. Gives you the opportunity to cash flow every month without the headache of being a landlord. So if that sounds intriguing to you, feel free to reach out. I would love to chat with you, give you more information, and see if this is a great avenue for you. So thanks as always for watching. Thanks for your support. I hope this information helps, and have a great September. I will see you next month.